Here's something high-performing women are rarely told. Burnout is not always about working too much. Sometimes it's about working at the wrong level, doing leadership work without leadership positioning, carrying responsibility without authority, delivering impact without being seen correctly. In this episode, we are talking about how to accelerate your promotion and compensation without exhausting yourself in the process, because the next level should feel strategic, not heavier. Let's dive in. Welcome to Career Growth for Working Women. If you're ambitious, capable, and quietly carrying more than your role reflects, you're in the right place. I'm Shannon, promotion and compensation coach, and I help women fast track their next promotion by teaching them how to show their value so clearly leadership can't overlook them. Here, we talk about career advancement, visibility, burnout recovery, and building confidence without burning yourself out or shrinking to fit someone else's expectations. So grab your coffee or reheat it for the third time and let's get into it. Let's talk about burnout. Not the dramatic version, not the collapse version, the subtle version. The kind where you're still performing at a high level, still trusted, still reliable, but everything feels heavier than it should. You're slightly more tired, slightly more irritable, slightly more resentful, and you can't quite explain why. For a lot of high-performing women, burnout is not about too many hours. It's about misalignment. You're operating at a level above your title. You're solving problems that impact multiple teams. You are influencing decisions without formal authority. You're stabilizing culture without recognition. You are thinking strategically without owning the direction. And that gap is draining because you are expending leadership energy without leadership positioning, and that is exhausting. And here's where it becomes dangerous. Instead of recognizing the misalignment, many women internalize it as a stamina issue. They think, maybe I just need to be more resilient. Maybe I need better time management. Maybe I need stronger boundaries. But boundaries do not fix mispositioning. Clarity does. If you're delivering leadership level impact but not being compensated and titled as a contributor, your nervous system feels that mismatch. It feels the weight of responsibility without the authority to match it. It feels the pressure of results without recognition. And over time, that erodes motivation. The 5% level is not about doing less work. It's about doing the right work at the right level with the right visibility. Acceleration without burnout happens when three things align: your dominant visibility style, your positioned impact, and your advocacy. If you're an operational powerhouse, acceleration means you are not just executing more. You are clarifying the strategic scale of your execution and aligning scope with authority. If you're an impact influencer, acceleration means you are not just driving conversations. You are linking momentum to measurable outcomes and positioning yourself as a decision maker. If you're a connection leader, acceleration means you are not just supporting the team. You are quantifying trust and culture impact and connecting it to retention and performance. If you're a strategic visionary, acceleration means you are not just providing insight. You are shaping direction and ensuring your thinking influences allocation and strategy. Do you see the difference? Burnout often comes from operating in your strength without recognizing structural recognition. Acceleration comes from aligning structure with impact. When your title, compensation, and authority reflect the level at which you're already operating, energy shifts. You feel lighter, not because you're doing less, but because you are no longer over-functioning in silence. And this is important. Acceleration does not require aggression. It requires alignment. You do not need to push harder. You need to position smarter. High-performing women are incredibly capable of carrying weight. The real question is whether you should be carrying it without clarity. If your workload keeps expanding, but your title does not, if your influence keeps expanding, but your compensation does not, if your responsibility keeps expanding, but your authority does not, that is not sustainable growth. That is slow erosion. The 5% shift here is reclaiming energy from proving and redirecting it into positioning. Instead of asking, how do I handle more? You can ask, at what level am I actually operating? Instead of asking, how can I support this further? You ask, does my scope reflect my impact? Instead of assuming exhaustion is the cost of ambition, you question whether misalignment is the cost of silence. Acceleration without burnout is possible, but only when your value is visible, only when your leadership is legible, only when you advocate for structural alignment. And here is the empowering part. You do not need to wait until you're burned out to shift. You can decide now that your next promotion will not come at the expense of your health. You can decide that your compensation will reflect your contribution. You can decide that your energy is a strategic resource, not an unlimited supply. The women who move fastest and sustainably are not the ones who can endure the most. They are the ones who align the fastest. That is the 5% level. Not hustle, not exhaustion, but alignment. If your career has felt heavier than it should, this might be the moment to ask a better question. Not can I do more, but how can I be seen correctly? Let that sit with you. And guess what? I'll see you next time. If today's episode sparked something for you, a question, an idea, or a realization, don't ignore it. I offer promotion strategy calls where we walk through your current role, your goals, and how to position you for your next promotion or raise without burning out or overworking. You can book that call using the link in the description. And if this episode helped you, sharing it or leaving a quick review makes a bigger difference than you know. Until next time, keep sharing your value clearly. You've earned it.